They'll blanket you in Wi-Fi and profit off the radiation. Congregation collecting the people for that Satan. I keeps it blazing, cause I can read between the lines. I ain't blind, we unwind what they're really saying. Genetically modify what you're tasting. Don't need that cottage promise, so now you live up in your mom's basement. Redesign time so your mind is always wasted. Programmed to crave the basics. Keep the beta in stasis. Pay the stake, kid. You're in debt for being born. Messengers are more than just the price for being warned. Don't be alarmed. Disconnect from their machinations. Stop subscribing to the folly of all nations. Bone breaking they dance. Screens, it's a plot to drop the IQ. Fighting amongst each other over rumors that don't like you. Prefer us trapped in melancholy with the wood wands of holly. Suggestions that obliterate to camouflage the folly. Attempted mental robbery, executed softly. The pomp proceed this mockery and walk the talk with me. Put the hands up to touch the Akasha, cause you know deep down there's something bigger than your wallet.
Hey, sweet eternal balance of all that is good, true, and beautiful, friends. Tonight you got 2 intros for the price of 1. I often forget to play the middle path intro. It's just so much more common to do the Rogue Ways intro. So that's just my habit. It is good to be here with you guys on this Thursday. It is almost the end of October. Halloween is almost here. This is Halloween weekend we're going into 2022. I hope you guys are ready. I don't usually Halloween, I'm not gonna lie. I don't usually do much for many holidays in my life. It has not much been something that I focus on. I more often am the person who's like, oh, is it Halloween soon? Like I get lost in what I'm doing, and you know, so it's been later in my life that people have gotten me to slow down and like take note of holidays and enjoy them more. So I dig it. I like it. I would love to dress up for Halloween. I just also have this hang up about like buying a costume, and making one is never something I generally have time and space for. So it just doesn't happen. But I actually do like dressing up. I think it's fun, actually. I saw a funny comment from Conan O'Brien. He said, I have a good Halloween dress up idea. Grow up and be an adult who doesn't wear costumes anymore. I was like, it's kind of mean, kind of true, but I like dressing up. The last time I dressed up for Halloween, I believe I was a ninja. No, dude, actually, I dressed up after that for a Halloween party with a boyfriend I was with, and I was the female plug-in socket, and he was the male plug-in. Kind of creative, super easy. That's actually why we did it. We were living in Bahrain, and they don't really have the Halloween thing. Like Spirit Halloween stores aren't a thing there. So there was a dress up and we had to figure out what to do. So that's actually the last time I dressed up. If you have favorite Halloween costumes or have one you're wearing this year, please share it, comment, tell me about it. I would love to hear about it. I also tomorrow I'm supposed to do AM Wake Up. If you haven't watched AM Wake Up, if you're here on Rockfin, it's here on Rockfin with you. You can watch it every day. It's in the morning. It's a morning show. Depending on where you're at in the world, it's at different times. But tomorrow morning around, I think 9 AM Mountain, I'm supposed to be on. I know Steve goes for at least a few hours, if not 3, I think that show might be. So it's a cool show. Every morning they do that. Steve's an awesome longtime friend of the show, although you may not have seen him in a while if you're, especially even in the last few years. I think he hasn't even been on Rogue Ways, which is saying a lot. But Steve's awesome. And so what's up, Christopher Rangel in the Rockfin chat, Angie A as well. Happy Thursday to you both. It's good to have you here, and everyone else who's here and hasn't said hi yet. We're going to talk about Edgar Cayce today, the sleeping prophet. This is, I don't know, it came up on some Middle Path episode not that long ago, and I promised I would do an episode on Edgar Cayce, so we're going to do that today. He's so cool. It's so funny because I was asking myself, like, where, when, how? I don't remember learning about Edgar Cayce, but clearly I did at some point, and I just know it was a really long time ago. If it wasn't in my teens, it was in my very early 20s, but I think it must have been in my teens, but I genuinely don't know why. I will say it might be my aunt, you know, we didn't have a lot of contact through my life, but the times we did, I just love her dearly. If she listens to the show, I love you dearly, my auntie. And I found out recently that she's very into him. So maybe she mentioned him or told me about him, or it's possible, even though we really didn't. I always say, like, I could probably count on hands and toes the number of times I've actually been able to spend physical time or even talk on the phone with my aunt. That's how rarely in my life, but yet we're very close. I don't know if you guys have people like that. She's very into him though, so possibly that's where it came from. I genuinely have no recollection. I just feel like I've always known about Edgar Cayce. So again, my parents weren't really into any of this stuff. My siblings weren't really into any of this stuff. My sister was on and off. Maybe she introduced me to it. I really not sure. And like I always say, that was pre-internet days back then. Even though the internet existed in my teens, I don't know about you guys, but it really wasn't something that we had that much access to. And even if you did, I didn't, I guess, really tend to use it much for like research or learning about stuff. I literally just like chatted with people in chat rooms. As much as I love to learn, I don't know why it wasn't really a tool for learning for me for like a while. Maybe I just didn't realize its power that early. Those were the days too. You pretty much had to know, like, you had to type in the address to the site. It wasn't all this, everything's just so interlinked. Now you just click, click, click. No, you had to like know the site. If you spelled it wrong, you weren't going to get there. You had to have good spelling. Had to know what you were doing. So maybe that's part of why too. But however I learned about Edgar Cayce, I did learn about him. And clearly throughout the rest of my life, I learned more and more. And tonight we're just going to, dive into it. There's so much good content that's so easy to access for him because he just put it all out there for people. So what's up, Travis, in the chat as well. Also, before I forget, there is a hangout after this show, as always, for supporters. So if you're around, come join us. We have fun. We have good times. We laugh. Cookies and cake are had by all. Not really. That would be nice, though. I am currently drinking my fake coffee, just in case you were wondering. This is dandelion root. It's hella good, and it's very, very good for you. And so I mix my dandelion root with some fake creamer, usually the layered superfood creamer, which is coconut solids and other things. Or this time, I got myself a nice little, what are they called? They're like nut pod creamers. There's no sugar or anything, but it's flavorful and it's got fat in it, so it's satiating. It's very nice. High nutrient density, this drink here. No caffeine either. It just tastes kind of like coffee, which my brain enjoys. I just knew you were all dying to know what I was drinking. So, of course, I had to tell you. I don't have a lot to talk about before we cut off the free feed. So if you are on YouTube, or if you see this video on YouTube, or you're hearing this on the audio podcast, this is all you get because this is a supporter-only show. And I love Thursdays. I love Middle Path. And we often go really deep into some deep spiritual truths and do some practices that are really transformative. And we always learn a lot and share a lot. So you should be here with us. We would enjoy that. The crew here is pretty cool. And if you didn't know for some reason, shows are always live. They're always on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain, whatever time that is in your time zone. You can come join on Rockfin or on YouTube, except on Thursdays unless you're a supporter. Just on Rockfin is where you'll stream it. And if you are just a listener and you don't like to show up live or you don't like to watch videos, then the Apple Podcast is where these are stored. This and all the archives of all the bonus content for both Rogueways and Middle Path is there, I should say, on Apple Podcasts. You can subscribe and get access to all of that going all the way back to the beginning. I know more than 4 years now I've been doing the show, and at some point, I meant to celebrate 400 episodes, but that came and went, and I completely forgot. So we're at 400 something. We're headed towards 500 now, and here we go towards that. So anyways, much love to all of you as always. And before we do leave the free section and go just to the supporter-only content, I always love to remind you guys of rogueways.org. It really is the hub for everything, whether you're trying to get to the Telegram chat that we've got going, whether you want to become a supporter in the community at rogue.locals.com, where there's also extra content. There's channeled messages frequently and more, or whether you want to link through to some other place like Substack, where there's also channeled content and other writings. All of these places you can find linked here under the Rogue tab. You can grab my books here, whether you want to get them from the big bookstores online like Amazon and Barnes & Noble, or you want to get them directly from me. This books tab can take you to any of that, including the audiobook, by the way. If you like to listen, that audiobook is for you. It's such a good story. It's high quality production. It's excellent. I love it. I'm so proud of it. It's really cool. I hope you guys have checked it out. If you haven't yet, go grab it. You can grab some spiritual support one-on-one. I do I Ching readings, tarot readings, spiritual guidance where we channel messages from your guides and allies, and more. So spiritual support is where you can book a session one-on-one. You can read the testimonials of those who have already done so. You can click on the courses link here and get to the Thinkific courses that I have. There's tons of courses there available for you. There's also a meditation library. I do guided meditations twice a week with people, and I have gathered many of those in one place. So if you want to just get like a bunch of meditations, download them, have them on your phone, have them ready to do meditations whenever and wherever, there's also that there on the courses tab that brings you to the Thinkific page. Orgone and more is here. I need to actually get some more orgone out there. The shop is looking pretty dry. There's a lot of pendants. There's not a lot of lotus votives. There's a lot of towers left. I think my last tower went today, and I think I have one lotus votive left. So I will get on that and get you guys some more orgone for you, that powerful, energetic channel that uplifts your space, your intentions, your practices, and more. And of course, you can always click on the gear tab, grab shirts, sweatshirts, bags, whatever you like with all the Rogue and Middle Path logos, sayings, catchphrases, and fucking awesome designs. Johnny's done most of these, and he, of course, is a genius. His stuff is also here on TeePublic somewhere. I don't think I am allowed. I don't think they let you link to anything from here. It's kind of their thing, and it's laid out how they want it. It's a third-party place, but Johnny's there too. Of course, you can find all his stuff at johnnylarson.com. He does the music at the beginning and the end of every episode of Rogue Ways and Middle Path. There are new songs, so if you've been skipping the endings for a while because you've heard them all, you may want to stop doing that now. All kinds of new stuff up in here. So that's just the shop, the page, and the things that you can come and connect with and do. I'm always excited to connect with you guys in any way. I love all of you so much. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. And I hope you come join us for One Day of Brightness this winter. It is coming. I know it's still a few months away, but I just get really excited every time. So we've got super cool lineup this time with Joshua Lewis, who's that psychic medium, channels through those who have passed on to the other side and is going to help you do the same. He's an awesome person. He'll be there that day. And also Marty leads in the house that day. Marty, of course, is also an amazing person and teaches Gnostic teachings. He is a professor of a Gnostic school that he has founded. He writes very beautiful and deep reflections on the magic in this universe, of God's signature in the world. And he's a musician and more. Of course, you know Morty many times on the show, good friend of the show and a good friend, and he will be there as well. It's going to be a fantastic day, so I hope you can join us for that. And now we'll get into the Edgar Cayce delving in. We're going to talk about ESP, self-hypnosis, channeling through the higher energies, and more. Such a cool guy. Really changed the entire world forever. And most people don't even know it apparently, which blows my mind. So we'll talk about him in a moment. But until then, I will say goodbye to anyone over on YouTube. Breezer, that's you, and anyone else over there. You can click right below you and hop over to Rockfin and join us for the rest of the show. If you're listening out there, you can hop over to Apple Podcasts and catch the rest of the show. And otherwise, I will see you guys next time.